Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 80 of Building R2D2. This is the next part that we're all waiting for, apart from obviously when we got the dome back at issue 50. This is the front panel. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but it actually looks smaller than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I know it's half scale, but the dome seemed quite substantial, but this, I don't know, it doesn't, I imagined it to be bigger. But there we go, we have what we have, and once it's got all the bits on it, it's obviously going to look somewhat more interesting. Right, this one, we're putting bits on the front panel, and it's got some buttons. So we've got the front details, we've got, what do they call this, the data slot. Basically it goes on there, just goes on there one way around. I haven't sorted out the screws for this issue. Oh, I know, it's terrible. I can only do it for one per month. You've got two of these normal self-tapping screws hold this in place. I seem to have loads of these screws. Some of the others are just the right number, but these ones seems to be, I've got like 20 sitting in the pot there. I'm not entirely certain what they're doing. Obviously no screws supplied this month, but last month there were a couple of little packets, so you know. There we go, that's the first blue panelling on there. If you were painting it yourself, it's nice that they do separate them all, so you could obviously just spray up the blue and then the white and work through it from there. Right, we've got another panel which fits into the bottom left recess this way up. Well, really, it'll only go one way round, so it's going to go that way around. Two more of the screws to hold it in place. That's obviously why they gave us loads of these last time, because they figured we're going to need them this time. So holding that in place from the other side. I'm sure you're bored with me suggesting it now, but don't just tighten up the screws from the get-go. Get both of them in first, make sure it lined up properly, and then tighten them fully. You don't need to be getting one in and then finding the other one won't fit because it's slightly askew. There we go, nice little silver panel on there. Cool, that's done that. Recharge coupling. There's a moulded arrow to indicate the bottom. There we go, that's the bottom. So that goes that way around. And that bit goes on the inside. And then it's held in place with a self-tapping screw. Alright, so that goes on that way and that goes on that way, and the very act of putting the screw in holds the two of them together without actually touching the middle bit. That's quite interesting. So I get that in a little bit, make sure it's the right way around, make sure that's the right way around, and then we'll tighten that down as well. Right, now we've got the bank of 6 slots, which are the buttons. We'll be using the buttons that will be controlling R2 himself. We've got these 6 button-like things. Obviously they just pop through on there, so they're actually, I don't know if they're actually buttons on the real R2 or what they're meant to be. But funnily enough, we need another one of these to hold that in place there. And we've actually got some electronics for the buttons this time. So ordinarily that would be, you know, an issue. You put a couple, 3-4 bits on. That's more than some issues. But yeah, these buttons, we actually, it says that's completed assembly, but then you turn over the page and it tells you to start playing around with electronics. So we put that aside. We've got the switchboard. Let's get all the bits out. Right, we're going to be using them all. So we have the electronic part, the switchboard, and both ends of that are the same. So we'll get that in one way round. Yeah, they're both exactly the same. So we've got the wire in there. Let's pull that through a bit so we're not fighting with ourselves. Goes into this back plate. Get that the right way round as well. That's how we're doing that. So these are just push to make buttons. Fixing holes, and a self-turning screw in each corner. Really? I must have that the wrong way around then. So that shows you it one way round, and then it lies about how it's going to go together. So it goes that way around, and 2 screws hold that in place. There we go. One on each corner, leaving one in the middle, funnily enough. What's the one in the middle for? Oh, followed by 2 more, eh? Oh, screw in one corner, followed by 2 more. So, yeah. 3 screws to hold it in place. Let's get another one. There's one there, one in the middle, and one on the other end. And then 2 more. Probably the most screws used in a single issue. Tighten up the other 2. There we go. And then, turning it over, the back plate goes on the correct way round. That way round with 2 more screws. 2 more screws, don't need 3, 2 will do it. Got one there, one at the bottom. And we're on to the last page of this week, of this month. When, yep, you guessed it, 2 more screws. So hold it in place on there. So that one goes at the top, that one goes at the bottom. And then we have some electronics for the buttons, which will, as far as I can gather, to activate the different modes. Oh, it's got listed down here. It says button 1 is power on and off, button 2 is switch connection mode, 3 is for pairing and connecting on Wi-Fi, 4 will raise and lower the lightsaber, 5 will make the arms go in and out, and 6 will turn patrol mode on and off. So I think some of these you can do from the apps as well, but they all seem to be working. I can hear them clicking as you're pressing them. So we've got buttons that work, so we can turn them on and off, and patrol mode, and put the lightsaber in and out. And that is completed for this part, this issue. I'm very happy with the way he's coming together, actually. The so that will go on there. So that will be the side coming together. So there's obviously one more side panel the other side, and then that will be attached to the back, which we've already got. Going to slip that sort of together so it's not going to scratch up against each other while I'm keeping it in storage for a month. But I'll play around with that later. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the build as much as I'm enjoying making it. And I shall see you next month for part 81, the final straight. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.